Folks, I have a pretty big update for you today. Free agent signings coming, all being held up by Jonathan Kuminga, but reportedly per Brett Siegel, NBA reporter for Clutch Sports, there are signings in the waiting. It all depends on Kuminga because based on his contract, then they can offer money to other people. So who are they going to sign? It's names you may be recognizing. We're going to break it down here on Warriors Digest and the fit that they would have on this team. Trades, rumors, summer league, free agency, you name it. Myself, Arthur, we got you on Warriors Digest. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss any Warriors news daily. And news of the day for you, for us, for the Warriors. Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton are widely expected to sign with the Warriors, sources said. A handful of teams at NBA Summer League stated Horford and Melton already have verbal agreements in place with Golden State. Kuminga's situation is holding up these deals. So comment your thoughts. Are you happy about Al Horford basically becoming your center and DeAnthony Melton coming back to the Warriors as a two guard where he was last year until he tore his ACL? Again, we traded Melton to the Brooklyn Nets for Dennis Schroeder. It did not work out. He was sent over to the Pistons in the whole trade for Jimmy Butler. So in this case, potentially your starting five, let's show you what we got, would be Curry, Butler, Green, Melton, Horford. Does that win you a championship? Yes or no? Maybe Melton coming off of ACL injury is a backup too. They have BP potentially starting, Moody potentially starting there. Maybe they bring somebody else in. But I don't think Horford's coming off the bench. He's your backup and you have Quinten Post at 5. So it'd be interesting how they have those combinations. So that's your news one. Again, Kuminga's deal, he's looking, as I talked about yesterday, he's looking for around $30 million a year. Warriors will offer $20 million a year. If they do a sign and trade now, Kuminga can only be traded for half his value. So if you sign him for $30 million a year, he can only be worth $15 million a year. You sign for $20 million a year, only can be worth $10 million a year until December when he can be traded for the full value. And it's because he's a restricted free agent. He also has the $7.9 million qualifying offer out there. If he takes that, he'll be a free agent next year, and he can get any deal with any team he wants. Brett also says it's also worth mentioning the Warriors were connected to Malcom Brogdan in Vegas. The former Sixth Man of the Year has held out in the free agency to this point, despite multiple suitors connecting him in recent weeks. We haven't talked about him quite a lot here, so I wanted to bring up Malcom Brogdan. 1 second. And why him? Because look at this right now. CP3 Clippers, Beal Clippers, Marcus Smart Lakers. Those teams have got better, more depth, shooting, defense in the Lakers case. Teams down south doing their thing. Warriors still the only team not to make a move in free agency due to the Kuminga situation. So there's less and less free agents out there. One is Malcom, as I just mentioned. 6'4", 229, 32. So kind of at the tail end of the prime. He's been not on a good team as of late. Portland and the Wizards. Hard to be motivated when your team's not really doing a lot. Just like Marcus Smart was on the Wizards and now he's moving to LA. Can Brogden move the same East Coast to West Coast to California, but go to the Bay versus the South Bay? And when I say South Bay, I mean Southern California. Milwaukee, Pacers, Boston, Portland, Washington has actually never played in the, I lied. He was on Portland. I was going to say Western Conference. Portland there, but we don't think about them a lot as of late. But he's averaged at least double-digit in points a game his whole career. Doesn't get you a crazy amount of rebounds, but we know in the Warriors system, guards do a nice job at rebounding. The biggest part is he's a 6'4", so taller point guard. We don't have a backup point guard. BP could be that, but he plays a lot of 2 next to Curry. So Brogden can come in and be that guy. Again, Armstrong, we picked up from Australia. Does he make the job as a two-way player? I talked about from Summer League video yesterday as that Pat Spencer role where he could come in and help out if there's injuries. He's not the best shooter from 3. You look last year. I mean, he didn't play a lot. He was hurt, 28%. But when he is relatively healthy, he can make 40%. So the question is, do you get the high-level 40% or the low level 30%, 20% type of three-point shooter. I think he probably falls in the middle between 33 to 35 with the Warriors. The question, though, is you're signing him. Is he going to be healthy? Hasn't played 60 games in about 3 seasons. Hasn't played 70 games since his first year as a rookie. Now, he won't have such a significant load on the Warriors, but it could be something that would help out this team. You look at his contracts. Again, he's an unrestricted free agent. Was making $22 million per year last year. He's not getting that as a backup point guard with the Warriors. He's made $132 million. So the question is, does he want to chase money or go to a team that can compete? And folks, the Warriors, again, don't have a lot of money. Where are we? All the Warriors have, folks, because 80% of their payroll is going to Butler, Green, and Curry. They have the taxpayer mid-level exception, which is around like 5 to 10 million, and the vet minimums, which is a couple million, like 2-ish, and youngsters on rookie deals. So if you get Melton and Horford and Brogden, one of those players can take the mid-level exception and then the vet minimums. Horford himself, again, is probably more of a vet minimum, was 10 million, 9 million with the Celtics. In his career, folks, you're going to be crazy to see this if you haven't recognized. He's made $285 million in his career. He doesn't need the money. Play for the love of the game. If you look at DeAnthony Melton, again, hasn't been around as long, 27 years old, has made $50 million last year on his contract. We signed him to a 1-year deal, $12 million. Don't think he's getting that coming off an ACL injury. So when you look at all this together, I think Melton and Horford get the vet minimum, a couple million, and then Brogden potentially becomes your mid-level taxpayer exception. Now, there are also reports about Ayo being traded to the Warriors in a sign-and trade with Jonathan Kuminga. Again, you look at his contract. Last year, he had an injury on his shoulder, was out for most of the year. He's only 25, so he's about to peak. Backup point guard, so maybe you go sign and trade, and then you have money not to get Brogden because you get Ayo, $7 million. So again, if Kuminga is getting signed at $20 million, you only can trade half of that, $10 million. This makes it more realistic because you can throw in another player to make that money add up. With the first apron, second apron issues, I'm not going to dive deep into it. You can take back more money than you're giving in some situations, depending where your team is at. So the Warriors really are kind of in this purgatory spot because the Kuminga deal matters. Then it's about how much money can they give to the rest of the team. Because again, you look right here, blow it up for you. Warriors have $24 million until the first apron space. So if Kuminga is getting, say, $20 million a year, then you're basically going to hit the first apron. You can't go over the second apron, so that's $16 million for the rest of the team. Maybe Kuminga gets $30 million a year. That's $6 million for the rest of the team, and then you're really going to be stuck not being able to pay other people. So it really comes down to Kuminga. But then the question is, folks, again, do you enjoy Horford and Melton coming to the team? Melton coming back, of course. Horford first time on the Warriors. Kuminga holding up the deals, not signing, qualifying offer, and then if he's not in sign trade and Kuminga is here, Brogden as your backup point guard. A lot of if and or buts there. Would love to hear your thoughts on what's going on. Again, not a lot of free agents still out there. So we're doing our best to keep you up to date on the information that you need to know. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you in the next video.